Everybody that's homeless doesn't look like they're homeless.
Their brother, their sister, their mothers.
No one's safe from it.
Homelessness is a dark, dark space, a dark place that nobody wants to be.
But homelessness is really something beyond that. It means that there's no external support, which creates that experience of hopelessness that is deafening and can be debilitating.
As far as I can remember, it might have been even have been early as 7 that I was being sexually abused by an older sibling, and I was also given cocaine, and then it spiraled into drug addiction to criminal behavior, and I didn't know how to stop. And so I became homeless about 18, just living off the street, just wandering until I was incarcerated. It was scary. There was rapes. I really didn't know if I was even surviving. I was just numbing myself, and I didn't even know how to ask for help. I ended up back in jail until my dad came and paid a lawyer, and I was able to be diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I went into Women Place. And through Women Place, I was able to get an housing advocate through HomeStart.
I did have a tough childhood. I lived with my great-grandmother up until I was about 13 or 14. Then I went to go live with my father's mother. By the time I turned 17, I just couldn't live by her rules anymore, and I left. I needed to get high and do those kinds of things. If the girls at school were drinking, that wasn't enough for me. I would, sell myself. I would steal. Pretty much whatever I needed to do to support my habit, I did. I found myself sleeping on Charles River a few times. And I think that was right before I really knew, I think I need help. So I went to HomeStart. I had an appointment at HomeStart, and I had a caseworker there. And she was just amazing. Good afternoon, HomeStart.
Hold on to me as we go.
The mission of HomeStart is to prevent and end homelessness in Greater Boston. So we'll work with the clients, find housing, stabilize them, but then upstream we also do a lot of work preventing people from experiencing homelessness in the first place by preventing evictions.
We are an alternative to homelessness, a housing voucher program to take the ease off of other subsidized programs and meet the demands of the homeless population and low-income folks.
The goal of HomeStart is to support people to becoming self-sufficient.
How did it jump up to $1,800? She started going with me on applicant searches and housing searches, and I started to kind of believe that I might be able to manage living on my own. We finally found an apartment, and then I started seeing her once a week, setting up a budget plan and learning how to pay bills. I got my bachelor's last year. That wasn't enough. And so I said, maybe I can go for my master's. And I signed up, and I just completed my first year.
I had a child, and he was born premature, and he was a very sick little boy. But because he was in the NICU, I was there every day, and I got to know the nurses, and I really established good relationships with them. And when Micah was 6 months old, he passed away. My son Jaden was born the following year. He was also in the NICU. And I thought to myself, wow, these people really make a difference, and they really took care of my son well. And I said, I want to be a nurse. I felt like it was my calling. And in 2010, I became an RN. The reason why I'm able to be where I am is because I have a stable home, a stable environment.
Just know you're not alone.
I'm so grateful to have this program in my corner. I know that I can depend on my caseworker at HomeStart. She'll point me in the right directions. She'll show me, the resources that I have available. HomeStart has given me a chance to be a productive member in society because I have a home base. They've given me a second chance at life.
'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down.
98% of the families we work with maintain their housing 12 months after we intervene.
Good afternoon, this is Lang at HomeStart.
We get about 4,000 calls a year from people who are on the threshold of being evicted. We have capacity right now to work with about 400 of those people, most of whom have a back payment of rent for between $1,500 and $1,800.
So these are folks who can otherwise afford their rent. It's just something happens. A crisis hits, someone dies, they lose their job, or in winter, the trains were down, people working sort of paycheck to paycheck, and then they're facing eviction, and sort of everything they've known has changed.
We immediately inject cash and pay half of that debt and work with them for 12 months as they pay off the balance. We also work with them during those 12 months to build their resources so that they're not in that cusp of being evicted again.
So right now we're a safety net that can catch roughly 1 in 10 people who call. And more money would mean that we'd be able to widen that and be a safety net that can catch a greater percentage of people. And these are all people who never expected to become homeless, because no one expects to become homeless.
The work that we're doing brings immediate reprieve and an economic burden to a community, but also improves the quality of life of people who are in the most vulnerable situations. It's a win-win situation for the entire community. If you wanted a picture of courage, you just have to find a HomeStart client. And the path that they walk is unbelievable. It's inspiring.
Everything starts with home. This is mine. This is where I live. This is where I can be me. And it is my anchor. And it's my son's too.
I think that I'm living in a dream. Miracles happen. And I feel like it's a miracle.
Just know you're